everyone. Welcome to the KSP Studios Podcast, kung saan natin pinag-uusapan ang mga bagay na kulang sa pansin. My name is Gabe,
And I'm Paulo.
and we will be your hosts for tonight's episode. So tonight, we will be talking to Attorney Abeb, a lawyer who champions for the environment, and also the founder of the Tree Huggers movement. Attorney Abeb, welcome po to the studios.
Hello. Maayong adlaw, Gabe and Paulo, and thank you for inviting me.
Thank you po, Attorney, for gracing us with your presence here at the studios.
I
Thank
am
you so much.
delighted and honored. It's my pleasure.
Ayun. So, Attorney, would you like to introduce yourself to our audience?
Okay. I am Attorney Abeb Arboleda-Depon. I am a lawyer, journalist, environmentalist, and eco-warrior here in the province of Capiz. I started my environmental advocacy when I was designated as the acting Capiz Provincial Environment and Natural Resources Officer in the province in 2017 until 2022.
Wow. So, sa Capiz po pala kayo naka-base.
Yes, Rojas City, Capiz, known to be
Oh,
the seafood capital of the Philippines.
yes. I've been there. I love the seafood. Ang mura ng seafood dyan.
Yes, and the taste, it's very good.
Opo. So, lalo na po yung mga shellfish. So
Yes,
good.
we are known for diwal or the angel fish, angel wings.
Ito po ba yung parang manipis, yung niya? Yung
Yes, may
shell.
din, may capi shells. We are
Oo.
also known for capi shells, but the best among the shells for me is it's diwal or the
Diwal.
angel wings. Oo, kasi yung tawag sa kanya angel wings kasi pag na-open niyo yung shell, parang angel wings.
Ay, kasi nagsasparkle siya, parang
Yes, and it's white.
yes.
Pearly white. Oo.
Ang galing lang kasi parang halos lahat po ata ng naging guest namin sa podcast nasa West Visayas galing.
Oh!
Opo.
It's
Ang
nice.
galing
Oo.
lang. So ayun, Attorney. We would like to know what got you started into being a champion for the environment, an eco-warrior, as you would say.
Yes. Actually, as I mentioned earlier, I started my advocacy in 2017 when I was designated as the acting CaPENRO. At that time, Capiz has no environment office. Considering that if you notice in our local government code, the creation of environment office and the appointment of an environment officer is merely optional, not mandatory, unlike other offices like the provincial agriculture, provincial accounting, or the budget office. So it's mandatory. Environment office is only optional, okay, depending on the budget of the local government. So in Western Visayas, Capiz actually was the last province to create an environment office. At that time, the mining moratorium, the ordinance on the large-scale moratorium on large-scale mining was lifted by the Sangguniang Panlalawigan. I was one of those who are very vocal on social media against the lifting of the moratorium for 50 years. So that's why the incoming governor approached me. Then Governor Tony Del Rosario told me now, Attorney Abeb, I think you're brave, so I want you to be the environment officer. So study the law and draft the ordinance and create the environment office. So when I was designated, of course, I said to myself, I am a lawyer, I know environmental laws, but when I check the duties and responsibility, it has lots. So I started with capacitating myself. So I allowed myself to be with the company of the scientist, forester, mining engineers, researchers, and all other expert in the field of environment, so that I could capacitate myself before taking the role so that I could implement effective programs, plans, and projects in my provinces. So the first thing I did after I capacitated myself as environment officer is to assess the
Mm-mm.
Capiz ecology,
Mhm.
because I could not, for myself, I could not formulate plans, programs, and activities for the environment if I have no baseline data. So
I
from
see.
ridge to
Mm-mm.
reef, sa pinakamataas na bundok at kahit sa dagat, underwater, I have assessed the environment, and sadly it has a very poor rating.
Mm.
Mm-mm.
So on the forest areas, we are very sad situation because we only have a 9.5% remaining forest cover. And based on science, for us to be an ecologically sustainable community, we need at least 35% up or more to be an
Ah,
ecologically
I'm sorry,
sustainable.
attorney, you
So
said
very sad.
ilang percentage po ulit? That's like really
Nine,
low.
yes, very low, 9.5%.
Wow.
9.5.
Yes,
That's
that's the forest
wow.
cover. Yes, as in. So that's why kasi the very reason why kalbo na yung mga bundok namin, it's because of massive corn plantation.
Mm.
Mm.
Province of Capiz is top producer of corn,
Mhm.
mais. So compromising our environment. So that's very sad. We are on top
Yeah.
of being the producer of corn, but ang mga bukid namin is kalbo naman. So
Mhm.
very sad.
Mm-mm.
So with that assessment, um, I I pitched for the 1 million trees in 1 day project. That was one of my big ticket project, and we implemented the same in 2018. And
Mm.
Mm-mm.
with the simultaneous tree planting activity in the whole province of Capiz, encouraging all Capisnon 13 years old and above to plant trees during the Provincial Arbor Day, which was on June 25 of that year, June 25, 2018, we were able to plant more than 1 million trees.
Wow.
So that was
Wow.
Congratulations po.
the first collective effort that Capisnon did for the environment.
This was in 2018 po, tama?
Yes, that's in 2018.
Wow. Ang galing. Buti na lang before
Mm-mm.
pandemic pa, no? Kasi
Yes, before
everything.
pandemic. Oh.
So, attorney, I'm just curious, ano po yung mga trees na pinaplant ninyo?
I personally advocate the use of Philippine native trees.
Mm.
Mm-mm.
Yes, kasi we have learned our lesson. Before, the government would only introduce species that are fast growing
Mhm.
without studying the environmental impact, like mahogany and gymnelina, which is known to be invasive, and there's
Invasive.
negative impact on the environment. Kaya at that time, we also understand that wala pang technology and available information for our government to consider those species in introducing in the Philippines. But now that we
Mm.
have learned the fact, so we yung ano namin is saving Philippine native trees, ibalik ang tumandok nga kahoy sa aton kabukiran. So that is
Wow.
one of our advocacies.
That's amazing. Kasi po,
Mm.
like right now, naka-base po kasi ako ngayon sa Japan. And even though it's springtime, madaming mga tao ngayon na nagkakasakit, nagkaka-allergies ngayon because of the pollen.
Mm.
Masyadong masyadong maraming pollen, hindi na kinakaya
Mhm.
ng katawan ng tao. And I think it's because after the World War happened, ang daming trees na nawala. So they had to plant trees that are fast growing right away. And
That's
one of
correct.
them were cedar. So ngayon, yung pollen niya, parang masyado nang nagiging invasive. So halos lahat
Mm.
ata ngayon ng tao dito, puro may sakit because of
Yes.
that. So I'm just,
That's the impact if introduce something not native to that community without
I see.
knowing that there is a negative impact on people and environment.
Oh, I see.
Pero attorney, may tanong ko lang po, no? Because you've mentioned po, di ba, na yung nakalbo po yung halos the entirety of the forest of Capiz because of the corn production. So, wala naman po kayong na-encounter na violent reactions from corn farmers when you tried to save those part of the forest?
So far, wala naman, pero it's very hard, very challenging for us to encourage everyone to plant trees on corn areas. Very hard talaga. We have to offer them free seedlings of fruit trees and forest trees and convert their corn plantation into tree plantation. Until now, we are still very hard pa rin ang campaign for those corn pero somehow there are those that we were able to inspire and offer their lands for tree plantation. So actually last March 21, International Day of Forest, we launched our project, the Tree Huggers project, dubbed as Your Tree Counts and Adopt a Tree Reforestation Program. So the 2-hectare property was actually used for corn plantation, and the landowner decided to donate the same to the tree huggers movement to make it a forest.
Wow.
Wow. Ang laki nun 2 hectares ba yun? So that's...
Yes. Actually,
ilang
too little pa if we consider.
Mga ilang trees yun, attorney, sa 2 hectares na pwede?
For the 2 hectares, we are actually targeting to plant for this year 10,000 trees. So we are looking for patrons and donors to donate trees for the maintenance of trees. Kasi marami ng tree growing activities, tree planting, and that's why we call this Your Tree Counts, because we will make sure that those trees planted will be counted as trees. We partnered with a people's organization, Association of Diversified Farmers of Old Gia. They are also situated in the area adapted. They were the ones who will maintain the trees planted para talagang your tree counts.
Wow. Parang gusto ko talaga yung mag-sponsor. Yung KSP Studios na mag-sponsor tayo ng tree.
One tree is 120 pesos. That's equivalent to 10 pesos per month for 1 year. And the tree, the good thing for it is that the tree will be geotagged in your name. And we will put it on Google Earth so that you could see your trees.
Attorney, paano po mag-sponsor? Paano po namin pwedeng i-sponsor yung isang tree?
Just give us a message, send us a message in our Facebook, and someone will reply on that to guide you on how to adopt a tree.
Ayun, guys. Nakaka-excite naman. Gawin natin. Tara.
Oo nga eh. Saka di ba, attorney, yung tree planting ngayon is napaka-importanting part to save the in combating climate change and the climate injustice na nararanasan natin. So, attorney, may question ako about the tree planting kasi sinasabi nila na parang yung iba may mga violent reactions about tree planting, sabi walang silbihan kapag hindi naman ma-maintain. So, what are your plans po in maintaining those trees po para to make sure na they'll grow and hindi sila mamamatay, especially dry season?
Actually, that's a very good question. That's why we have this Adopt a Tree program, because there's a need for us to have a financial plan as to maintain the trees planted. Before planting, before March 21, we have a 1-month preparation. Ang ginawa namin is gumawa kami ng perimeter fence over the 2-hectare property para to make sure na walang mga kalabaw o ano na
Mm.
mga ibang mga farm animals na kakain ng tinanim namin. So we made sure of that kasi isa sa mga noted na mga causes na hindi lumaki yung mga naitanim na kahoy is kasi kinakain ng mga ng mga hayop. So
Hayop.
yan yung una naming ginawa. Yes, you are correct. We are on going to the summer season. So we are actually calling for donation of plastic bottles to be used as dripping system para may water. Ilalagay namin yung sample ito, plastic bottle na mga 1.5 na mga soft drinks, tapos lalagyan ng tubig, tapos ilalagay sa kilid ng tinanim na kahoy.
Ang
Okay.
galing. Ang galing
Enough
nun.
na po yun, attorney, to sustain the tree? Yung isang
No,
ganong
that's
bottle?
not enough because kinanglan din siyang i-weed kasi maraming mga ning grasses.
Damo.
That's why we have partnership with the people's organization. They will make sure they will visit the area from time to time to check on every trees planted.
Wow.
Galing.
So
Ang
talagang
galing.
pinaghandaan. Hindi lang siya yung
Yes,
basta-basta na
because
tree planting.
Oo nga
because
eh.
our inspiration for this is that we would like to prove that if the government is serious enough to plant trees, to grow forest, it is possible with the commitment and passion.
Yes. Yes.
Correct.
And that's what people are looking for right now. Kasi everyone's saying, yes, let's save the planet, let's save our environment, pero no one's really doing the work, the actual work. So it's so nice na there are people that are actually really doing the work now.
This is what happened if you personally experience and saw the devastating effect of the climate change as well as the human intervention on the environment. Actually, my assignment as acting CaPENRO ended in last year in 2022. But I said to myself that with all this situation in our mountains and in our seas, I have to continue my advocacy.
Galing. And regarding naman po dun, attorney, no, yung sabi mo nga yung from ridge to reefs, no, sa opinion niyo po, attorney, ano po yung mas, kasi Capiz is well known din sa mga, ano nila, di ba, sa mga dagat, and aside from that, yung mountains. So ano po yung mas, mas naapektuhan ng climate change? Is it the ocean or the forest po?
Actually, everything from ridge to reef din, from forest to our coastal. The effects actually most affected are those vulnerable sectors, the farmers and the fisher folks. Yes, we are known as the seafood capital, but the fishermen as well as the fish pond operators now experience the devastating effect of climate change. And they are majority or almost every one of them would agree that their harvest, the yield has declined. There is a significant decline on their yield and production.
Wow.
And added to that is the perennial flooding. Mga areas na hindi before na baha is baha na ngayon. Of course, that's why I keep on explaining the importance of trees. Parang nakalimutan na kasi ng mga tao how important trees. I said,
yes,
nature has gifted us with natural defense, and those are trees that we almost forgot its value. So we have to educate others and to introduce another, again, positive change by uniting people with common vision to make a greener and a cleaner Philippines. Mother Earth needs us. Yun yung mga cry namin sa the Tree Huggers movement.
Diba, attorney? The Philippines is one of the most hit countries when it comes to typhoons. I think tayo atay may nasa frontline tayo kumbaga ng climate change crisis. So with everything that's been going on, mean, 'di ba may lumabas po na, I don't know if you saw yung infographic na lumabas earlier this month saying na the Philippines was the biggest producer of plastic waste sa ocean.
Ocean plastic waste. We are top
Tama.
1. Before,
Oh my
only
God.
top 3 lang tayo. Ngayon, first place na tayo.
So do you think na may magagawa pa po ba tayo regarding that?
Yes. Actually, the answer is political will. Political will which we do not have.
Mm.
Which our local leaders, national leaders, few of them have, but most don't have. We have a very good law, RA 9003, Ecological Solid Waste Management Act of 2000. It's more than 20 years old, 23 to be exact. But the implementation, not all are implementing the same strictly. We have a very good law, but the enforcement, I guess there's a problem with the enforcement. There's a gap on the enforcement because of the absence of political will. If our local leaders, only if our local leaders are eco-warriors, yun yun natin yung challenge, to turn our local leaders, our national leaders into eco-warriors. Kasi pag eco-warriors sila, di na natin kailangan i-push pa silang mag-implement ng environmental programs.
Yeah.
So that's the key, political will.
So attorney, matanong ko lang no, regarding political will po no. Kasi ang dami na pong evidence ngayon that we are experiencing ecological strain na no. And so far yung mga response na na-receive natin are mostly denial or ignorance regarding the law. So in your opinion po attorney, and para sa kalaman ng mga nakikinig sa atin, is it too late for sustainability?
Environment issues, yes, you are correct. Kulang sa pansin. That's why we should keep on talking about environmental issues, environmental sustainability. If we come to think of it, may statement na the best time to plant trees is 60 years ago and the second best is today. I don't want to say that we are already too late because I am still hopeful. Somehow I am still hopeful. That's why I keep on challenging myself to keep going despite all these challenges, these debates, these issues. Still, I am hopeful that we could do something. That's why we keep on inspiring, campaigning everyone to be an eco-warriors, to be a tree huggers, for only then that they would care for Mother Nature. Yes, there are science-based evidence as to the environmental impact. Ang problema kasi, yung mga leader natin, naka-confine lang sa mga air-conditioned room, sa mga air-conditioned na sasakyan, that parang yung mga programs natin, parang mga short-sighted lang. Walang, as what you have said, environmental sustainability. That's why for me, we need more warriors, eco-warriors, to talk about environmental issues. Kasi if we have numbers, we can raise our voices. Maybe then local leaders could hear us, or our leaders, national leaders could hear us. Na kasi pag walang may nagsasabi about environmental advocacy, feeling nila hindi siya importante. There are just small in numbers. So, 'di ba, yung priority kasi nila yung infrastructure, development, progress. 'Di ba? Saan yun yung environment?
Yeah.
Gusto ko yun.
And it's sad to think na lahat nun dapat involved ang planet natin kasi wala ring infrastructure kung wala tayong matitirahan.
Yes. That's the very sad part. I would like you to imagine that in 1900s, Philippines, we are our land area is 30 million hectares. Imagine this. In 1900s, Philippines has 70% forest cover.
Wow.
That's 21 million hectares of virgin forest. That is why
Wow.
we are known for Philippine mahogany. Kasi nag-i-export tayo ng mga Philippine
Oo.
mahogany. Not this
Mhm.
mahogany we are seeing around.
Ay,
It's
iba na po ba
Bolivian
yun?
mahogany. No, our Philippine mahogany are yakal, lawaan. We have two types of lawaan, red lawaan and white lawaan, giho, ano pa? I forgot the others. So may mga dipterocarps tayo na maganda yung wood. That is why we are known for Philippine mahogany. But after a century, 1990, based on the study, from the 21 million hectares of virgin forest, after 1 century, our forest cover is only 800,000 hectare. So, we are
800,000.
very rich in natural resources, pero minsan pag mayaman tayo, go lang ng go without
exploit.
thinking for the next generation.
Wow. Parang tumayo yung balahibo ko doon. Nakakatakot na within a span of just
Yes.
100 years, ganun na yung... That's
Yes.
scary.
Very alarming actually, very alarming. So no wonder buong bansa, 'di ba? We are flooded.
Yes. Tapos ngayon nag-experience daw ng sobrang init na hindi natin
Correct.
naranasan pa before.
Yes, correct.
Exactly.
With all of this, ano ang ginagawa ng gobyerno? Kung may ginagawa sila, is it enough? If it's enough, what then?
Yes.
So,
Okay.
sabi ko, okay, let's not wait for government to do something. If kahit maliit lang, if we can do it and inspire others, baka dumami tayo and we can create greener and cleaner Philippines.
That's right. Right now, diba, yung mga tao ngayon, nakikita nila na mas importante sa kanila ngayon yung kunyari, providing food for their family or getting on with their careers. How can we tell people that the problems we have with our environment is worth attention right now?
Very good question. Again, one of our advocacies is to raise awareness. And we are doing it through one of our activity, which is called Reconnecting with Mother Nature. I believe that we are already disconnected with each other, with our environment. It's because that we are in this digital era, technology, instead of connecting us, resulted to disconnection. Kung manotice nyo, pag kumakain, lahat na lang nasa cellphone.
Yes.
Unlike before, that eating together, yung family, yun yung time na asking question, how are you? And observing each other. Kasi pag makita mo lang parang mahina siya, you have to ask, are you okay? Diba? Pero now, parang busy ang lahat na they don't care na na okay pa ba kayo? Na isa kayong bahay, pero hindi natin alam, may mga problema na pala. Kasi we are all busy with our respective lives. We are busy with social media that we are already, unknowingly, unconsciously, we are already disconnected. Unlike before, na sa time ko, siguro na inaano nyo na experience nyo rin, na sa labas kami, naglalaro. Ang laro nandoon.
Yeah.
We are so connected with our friends. 'Di ba? Takbuhan, sa puno, akyat sa puno, kain ng libreng fruits. Ngayon ang mahal-mahal na ng fruits, 'di ba? Ligo sa sapa o sa river, ano sa Filipino 'yun, sa ilog, 'di ba? Papaluin pa sa puwet pag umuwi, 'di ba? Pag nalaman ng nanay, ng tatay na naligo ka sa ilog, 'di ba? We are so connected with nature to the trees, to the rivers, to the lakes, to the beach, to the mountains, that we care for it. 'Di ba? Hindi tayo
Mm-mm.
nag-ano lang ng basura sa river kasi naliligo tayo doon.
Mhm.
Naglalaba tayo
Exactly.
doon, 'di ba? But now, syempre may mga nawasa, libre na, unlike before nag-iigib pa. So that's why we really yung importance ng tubig before, na hindi tayo nagwi-waste kasi tayo talaga ang
Mm-mm.
nag-iigib. Mahirap mag-igib. Pero
Mhm.
ngayon, nag-o-open na lang ng faucet, 'di ba? Di na
Mm.
nila nag-experience ang how hard it is to fetch water, 'di ba?
Mm.
So, parang wala lang. So, maybe that is one of the reason why people are no longer, not all people, but most do not care about the environment because they're already disconnected.
Mm.
So one way to let them care, to inspire them to be an eco warrior, is to be for them to be reconnected with mother nature. So
Mm.
we conduct nature trip, no? We do forest bathing, we do tree hugging, we do grounding.
Wow.
So para ma-reconnect sila. Nga, this is
Yeah.
nature. We need nature. It's good for our mental health, to our physical health. And then every time may tapos ng activity and then may mga realization, mahirap yung tulog ko pag gabi, maraming problema. Pero after the activity, after the grounding, the tree hugging, the forest bathing, when we inquire them, how's your sleep? They would
Mm-hmm.
say, I had a very good sleep. Because that's one of the nature's therapy.
Mm.
So before, 'di ba, yung mga ancestors natin, walang slippers, they do barefoot, 'di ba?
Ah, yeah.
So they do grounding. So there's a scientific explanation on that because there's magnetic, there's electrons, and it restores the natural defenses of our body.
Mhm.
Parang nagre-revitalize tayo. Kasi yung tree hugging, it's like hugging a person. When you hug a person, you feel belongingness, and
Mhm.
science says that it releases oxytocin, the love hormone, 'di ba? Which
Mm-hmm.
reduces the stress and increases happiness. So that's
Yes.
why dapat
Mm-hmm.
ma-experience ng mga madlang people yung yung mga ganon para ma-realize nila na we need nature.
Right.
We need nature, that we need to care for nature.
Yes.
Nature do not need us, but we need nature. So dapat ma-realize nila yun.
I was actually just talking about that kanina. We were having dinner nung family ko. And I
Mm-hmm.
was telling them dapat sali tayo sa Earth Hour bukas ah. As in, like, no electricity at all. And, pero plano ko rin po kasi ipanood sa kanila yung mga documentary si David Attenborough, yung
Mm-mm.
Our Planet. Para,
Mm-mm.
kasi yung mga kapatid ko po, mas bata sila sa akin. And I want them to be exposed to that. And we were just talking, a lot of the species sa mundo, they can thrive without us.
Correct.
We're actually the ones
Mm-hmm.
killing them. So what us trying to protect the environment, we're not just protecting the environment for the environment itself, it's for us so that we can keep living as humans.
Correct.
So parang ayun lang,
Galing.
nakakatawa na sinabi niyo po na, nature doesn't really need us. We need
Correct.
nature.
So attorney, regarding that po, no, how can we encourage yung mga kabataan, especially Gen Z, because they will be the one, di ba, to inherit the planet. How can we encourage them na instead of just posting on social media, or being on their gadgets 24/7, how can we encourage them to go out, see the nature, lalo na po sa mga cities wherein
Mm.
napaka-konti na ng mga nature like parts.
Yes, that's actually a very challenging question. And yan din yung challenge natin, how to inspire them to
Mhm.
go out.
Mm.
That's why we keep on posting the beautiful places. We have this
Mm.
hideout in Mount Agudo. It's a waterfalls, ang taas ng waterfalls. We call it the last frontier in our province because the local officials there have that political will to preserve the environment na maganda
Wow.
pa yung maganda pa yung place, yung Mount Agudo. It's actually the second highest peak in the province of Capiz. So na hindi alam ng maraming Capiz noon na nag-i-exist yun. Kasi it was only somehow discovered during the pandemic. Diba? So, ngayon, ginawa naming hideout for the tree huggers. And we keep on posting them for them to be inspired na maganda yung view, maganda yung mga kahoy, ang lalaki, and it's a good place to hike, to be with friends and family. So, minsan, there are some cases na na-invite sila for nature trip, makikita mo talaga na parang boring yung mga kids because walang gadget. Kasi doon walang internet, walang signal. So walang signal. So wala silang choice. So at least na-realize nila maganda yon, and then adding pa doon yung local foods, yung local delicacies. Kasi every time nature trip kami, isang rule namin is do not bring outside food. Because this time you will experience slow food, local delicacies na kung anong makita mo sa community na yan, yun yung iluluto. And then doon lang nila matitikman yung super masarap talagang mga mga local dishes ng sa Mount Agudo. So luckily it makes us happy to see to hear those feedback after the activity that they love the place, they love the experience, and they will invite their friends to have nature trip with us. So, yun yung mga efforts namin to invite those kids to be part of the nature trip. And of course, we also have to talk to their parents and to invite also grown-ups to be inspired, to be reconnected with nature so that we have more yung mga marketing stuff for the nature trip.
Wow. Pwede po ba kaming sumali dyan? Pag pumunta
Sure.
Oo nga eh. Para na-encourage siya.
Pwede.
Yeah.
If you want to visit the place, just PM us. We need at least 10 hikers to go there. Kasi yung community nagpe-prepare din. So, in support to the community, yun yung ginagawa namin. Para ma-appreciate ng mga community na i-save yung i-conserve yung area. Kasi maraming mga tourist ang pumupunta. Para kung may maraming tourist, marami silang luto, marami silang pera. So, kaya dapat yung pagkain, yung community ang nagluluto. Para may income sila. Oo.
So, pati pala yung mga foodies, if you wanna be adventurous, sali na.
Visit our page. We have some posts on Mount Agudo about our nature trip. We do yoga and meditation, forest bathing, and grounding. We also do tree planting there.
Wow.
Yun. Malapit na summer. So,
yes. Visit
tara.
us. Go.
Ayun.
Ang galing.
Attorney, I wanna ask you pala. So, di ba parang 3 weeks ago, we had ano tawag dito? Yung sa mga PUV po, nagkaroon sila ng transportation strike.
Transport strike, yes.
Yeah. So, maganda naman yung, for me, my opinion, maganda yung PUV modernization program. Kasi it benefits the environment. Pero what do you think, what are your thoughts regarding this matter?
Okay. It's between environment, culture, and tradition. Diba? Kasi naging kultura na ng mga Pinoy, ang jeepney, ang design, it's part of our culture that we use this as our means of transportation. But also, I believe that it's about time for the government to consider mass transportation. Kasi nga, one of the causes of air pollution is yung at hindi lang air pollution pero traffic. It's because of this small transportation.
Mhm.
That yes, I agree that we really need to modernize our transportation, like Singapore, 'di ba?
Mm.
Ito kasi ang
Mm-mm.
problema, problema sa government. Transportation kasi na privatize. Unlike sa Singapore, it's government,
Mhm.
so may control. So walang problema, smooth, environmental friendly. So ngayon,
Mm-mm.
it's very hard to implement because we have to consider the livelihood of those jeepney drivers, 'di ba?
Mhm.
The family.
Correct.
That yung ano ko lang is dapat the government must formulate a very um a very good plan
Mm-mm.
considering the livelihood and also the health of the people.
Mhm.
But yes, I agree to the modernization for our transportation.
So attorney, regarding po dun, no, because you've been a lawyer and then you've been an environmental advocate or active advocate, do you think po when it comes to environmental law sa Pilipinas, do you think po na kulang pa tayo sa environmental law or implementation lang po yung kulang?
Hindi tayo kulang sa laws. We have a very, very good laws. What is poor is the enforcement and the
Mhm.
Oh.
implementation. Kasi
Mhm.
ito yung problema. When I was the acting KaPENRO, I tried to be strict. I really tried to be strict on the enforcement on quarrying. Pero yung problema ko, kasi yung mga sa quarrying, mga contractor are also local officials.
Mhm.
So when I tried to be strict and to impose no exemption policy na kahit sino, kahit municipal government, kahit gobyerno nag-illegal quarry, dakpin,
Mhm.
I gain a lot of enemies, political enemies.
I bet.
So
Galing.
that's the problem. So that's why my term as acting KaPENRO ended last year.
Oh.
Okay po. That's
Yes.
sad.
So
So yung
but
mga
it's also an opportunity for me. I don't need to be in the government or I don't need to have a title or position to continue my advocacy.
Right. That's very
galing.
true.
Ang
Attorney,
galing.
hindi po ba kayo minsan, sana naman wala, pero 'di ba we hear a lot
Mm.
of people that are fighting for the environment that get very violent reactions.
Yes, there's a lot. There's in fact we argue, we debate, I debate. I
Mhm.
argue with our local leaders here. And I am brave enough to stand and firm with my with my opinion because I have the law on my side. Yan ang
Mhm.
yun lang sa akin, yung strength ko is I know the law, I know what I am doing. So that's why I am brave. And I
Mhm.
know that this is not for my personal interest and I have no conflict of interest. I have no vested interest. All I have is for the common good. So that's why I can say that I am brave.
Mhm.
Galing.
And of
Attorney,
course, I have
sorry, go ahead.
also preparing myself. I know my stand, I know my
Mm-mm.
situation, and of course, when you are in a battle, you have also to prepare.
Yes.
Correct, exactly. Ang galing naman nun. Nakaka-inspire naman po yung battle nyo sa for climate justice na talaga
Mm.
namang napaka kailangan na natin. We need the time to act is now, sabi nga
It
nila.
is.
Konting questions na lang naman po, no? So, regarding po dun sa regarding po dun sa about sa pakikipaglaban natin sa climate justice po. Because because we actually had this event last like 2 weeks ago because we're also trying to save the last wetland of NCR, yung Las Piñas Parañaque Wetland Park po. We're trying to save it from modernization din. And then may speaker po kami na yun nga about sa Mr. Teddy Bagilat po from Angat Kalikasan. May mga nabanggit po doon na issues like yung mga indigenous people po and yung mga marginalized people, sila yung mga mostly affected ng climate change. So how do we make sure po na magkaroon sila ng boses when it comes to legislations?
Actually, under IFRA law, indigenous people must have a representation. So sa mga area na mga existing yung mga indigenous people, dapat may representation sila sa sangguniang bayan, sangguniang panlalawigan. So all they have to do is to push that representation para may boses sila, may representative sila sa mga sa government. Like as sa amin dito sa province, starting last year, may sangguniang panlalawigan member na IP, and then in the municipalities where there are communities in indigenous peoples, may representation din sa sangguniang bayan. They have to lobby kasi there's a need for the creation of the office. So they have to lobby it with the local government units.
With all the environmental destruction po that is happening right now, in your opinion po, how much can we still save?
Here, for our province, it's so sad that I think we have so little to conserve. Our effort should be more on restoration. Kasi we have to admit that our environment is already degraded. We have so little left for us to conserve. So that's why our effort should be CPR, conservation, protection, and restoration. Just like as we revive human being from death, di ba ginagawa natin CPR, cardiopulmonary resuscitation. In terms of environment, we also need CPR. That's conservation, protection, and restoration.
Wow, conservation, protection, and restoration. Ang galing.
Well, right now, attorney, meron po kasi kaming mga youth group na hinahandle. What can you say to them? Kasi since they are the ones that's going to inherit, our planet, what can you say to them regarding our environment?
Well, for the youth, you are the future. We must do something for the environment for you to have a future. Kahit maliit lang, let's start with your habit on your trash, diba? Practice lang trash segregation, don't throw garbage anywhere. If it's possible for you to plant trees, to join the movement, to be part of environmental activities, do it. Be inspired, connect with nature, go out of your comfort zone, observe, understand, realize, learn, study, and you will understand that we really need to care for our mother kalikasan. So we need you. Be an eco warrior, be a tree hugger.
There. Very well spoken po, attorney. Very very inspiring. Siya, tindig balahibo.
And please I will take this opportunity to invite everyone to follow our page, the Tree Huggers Movement. I have also my personal page, Attorney Abeb, the Tree Hugger.
There. So, ilalink po namin yung mga socials niyo with this podcast so that they'll be able to contact you and your organization rin po. Is there anything else, attorney, na you would like to share Any
Actually,
other
very lang, very funny
Yes
because
po.
when I received the message of Paulo, I really don't know about podcast. I have to ask
Oh.
some of my tree huggers. So what is this podcast all about? But I am so excited. Oh, this is from pero I am so afraid because I'll be speaking in Filipino and my intonation is not good. So
Ay,
so
hindi po.
Okay lang
Actually,
po.
very clear nga po.
Walang problema.
oo, sino ang ning fluent sa Filipino, siya na yung magpa-interview. Siya, ikaw na. So, well, the invitation is for me, so I have to accept the challenge because I
Thank
love
you.
challenge.
Thank you so much,
Maraming
Attorney,
salamat
dun sa
po.
pag-accept.
And
Opo,
Ang
thank you
dami namin
too. Thank you for
natutunan.
the invitation.
thank you so much, Attorney. So, ayun,
Nice
guys.
talking to you. I have a very good night tonight.
Let's do it again, Attorney.
Sure. Let's talk about forest bathing, grounding, and nature
Yes.
treat.
Actually, I'm very
Yes,
interested
yes.
po dun sa grounding eh. Kasi I have
Oh, yeah.
experienced it myself.
Mm-mm.
Let's talk about that next time. Ayun, sa season 2.
Okay,
Sige po.
thank you so much.
Maraming salamat po, Attorney. Have
Thank
a
you po,
good night.
Attorney.
Bye-bye.
Have a
Good
great night
night.
po.